Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RVing in New England. And we got a special show tonight, as we do every Wednesday night for you, and I'm glad that you could join in. And we got Logan Gregoire from Vermont Country Campers and New Hampshire Country Campers as our guest. So we are pretty much all remote this week. So I'm going to bring John up. I'm sitting on my deck up in Maine, and John, let them know where you are this week.
Bob, I am in the RV capital of the world, just outside of Elkhart, Indiana, in Shipshewana, and sitting on the porch of a restaurant. There, you will hear noises, a click, click, click of Amish horses and buggies going by, and you'll also hear diesel trucks, I'm sure, because the rule of broadcasting is whenever the light goes on, the diesel trucks are there more than ever before. So.
As long as one of those long Midwestern freight trains don't go by, we'll be all set. That video you posted, I bet they've done 20 or 30 minutes sitting at some of those railroad crossings.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But you know, we're at ground zero. It's ironic that we're talking RVs. We're pulling into the RV area, which is 85% of the world's production is made right here within 15 miles of this area, and it'll be fun to go by a few manufacturers. There's the diesel, and a hot rod too.
Yeah, Not much local news. We're in the middle of summer, so everybody's busy and on vacation. But we did have a board of directors meeting this week. It was our general membership meeting, and we got a couple of new board members. So David Major is staying on. Jeff Wozniak from Mann's RV is staying on, as is Greg Corey from Pete's RV in Massachusetts. And we have two new members. We have Dan Craffey from Lee's Family Trailer Sales up in Windham, Maine. He bought the dealership about a year ago. And we got Logan Gregoire, who just happens to be our guest. So I'm going to bring him up and introduce him. There he is. Logan, how you doing? And welcome to the show tonight.
I'm great, Bob. Thank you both for having me. I'm honored to be here with you tonight.
Well, you know, it's a good time. You know, we don't put a lot of our dealers on. We want to, but we try to do it when they have special occasions. We had Chad Shepard on a few months ago when he opened up, when he bought McDonald's RV down in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And the reason we want to do it on this week, amongst a couple of things, is you've got a new dealership in New Hampshire. But before that, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the background in Vermont Country Campers, and then we'll talk about New Hampshire.
Sure. So my background, I joined my family's business it was about a year and a half ago now. Prior to that, I worked in Washington, D.C. in the United States Senate. Had a lot of great experiences down there, including working on, Supreme Court nomination, Attorney General nominations, and different policy. But I really missed the outdoors and aspects of the RV dealership. And I chose to come back and join my family's dealership here in Vermont. My parents started the business 22 years ago with a mission, to serve customers before and after the sale. And that's something I'm proud to continue working on today.
That's fantastic and interesting background. You're back a year and a half, and all of a sudden there's a new dealership in New Hampshire, and the grand opening was last weekend. It's carried through this weekend. So tell the folks a little bit about the new location in New Hampshire and why they should come up this weekend to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we opened New Hampshire Country Campers. It's about a month ago for sales, and we have a large customer base in New England and New York, and our goal is to always provide the best customer service possible. So opening our location in Epsom, New Hampshire just made sense. It's 2 hours door to door from our current dealership here in East Montpelier, our flagship store, and New Hampshire offers more quality campers at affordable prices, and we're looking forward to serving our customers in that area.
Hey, Bob, obviously
John.
You didn't send Logan the memo about dress because he's got a sport coat on. Well, Logan, before we go any, look, I've got my NERVDA shirt on. Bob's got his. Get that sport coat on.
I need a NERVDA shirt. Guys.
Well, you do get one as a new board member, and that's the other reason we want to join you. You're coming on the board. But go ahead, John. I kind of stepped over you there. Go ahead and ask him some questions.
No, I just, you know what, Logan, one of the things that I've noticed when I've gone to the store up in Vermont prior to New Hampshire opening, the thing I've noticed is that when I'd be waiting to interview you or your dad, I'd be sitting down and customers would come in, and it seemed as though most of the customers that came in, you already had a relationship with. So the service people would greet them down at that end of the building, and your sales manager and other salespeople would greet them at that end of the building. You plan on bringing that same atmosphere down to the Granite State?
That's what it's all about, John. And that's the philosophy that we're trying to implement on a daily basis. It's no different than what my parents have done and accomplished here for the 22 years that we've been in business in Vermont. And my priority, and I know my parents' priority down in New Hampshire it's customer service before and after the sale. And the first thing you're going to hear when you walk through our door is the bathroom's right over there. Here's coffee and water. How can we help you today? What are your camping needs, and how can we help you with those? So that's the same philosophy that we're going to continue to bring.
Well, speaking of your mother and father, I know they're over in Italy, and I guess your mother was trying to dial in a little earlier. So hopefully your mom and dad, it's 1 o'clock over there, but they stayed up long enough, so they're going to check you out and make sure you do the company justice there.
Sure. Maybe it's they're worried what I'd say about them, but no, if I know my mom, she's watching right now. So I'm very blessed to have the parents that I do. They're amazing role models, and they're a big reason of why I came back too, because it's just great, the opportunity to work closely with them.
A lot of times people in family businesses, the second generation, they come in and they work in the business, and then they never really leave, so they don't have any other experience in any other field. Do you think that you're leaving the area and the industry in itself has made you any stronger now that you're back?
That's a great question, John. My dad and I talk about it frequently. It was essential to my growth. Honestly, if I had stayed here throughout, I just don't think that I would be the person and employee that I am, and future owner of this company, because it forced me to get outside of my comfort zone and really learn how to work really hard, and things that I maybe would have taken for granted before, I don't. And I was fortunate enough to have a great mentor in Washington, D.C., who really gave me a lot of autonomy to do my job and to do it well. And I've actually received that from my dad since coming back. So it's really allowed me to be successful.
That's great. It's a good tradition. We are very fortunate in New England. We have many multi-generational dealerships, and some that go back to the 50s and the 60s. So hopefully I got to find some way to document that for NERVDA and get it out to publicize it, because we may have more in those 6 states than most of the country put together. When you look at Bob, we're on the third generation of some of them.
I think that would be an interesting statistics, because as we've been driving across Interstate 90, and I get off the highway a lot and go on the side roads, you see a lot of dealerships, and there are some mega dealers, but there are also real tiny ones too. It seems as though New England has the interesting blend of large dealers that are still family owned. And, if we start naming one, we'd have to name them all, but all the ones that I'm thinking of right offhand are still family owned.
Yep. And sons and daughters are running them. We should recognize some of our viewers tonight. Krista Merritt's on, says we're looking good. We plan on. Jerry's on. Hey, God. Yep. Jerry's on, and I did it. I let's start off with a question, but we don't have it on the screen. But I had Walter Swenson send me a note tonight, and Walter is the incoming Mass Good Sam director for 2019, and usually joins us every week, but he must be tied up somewhere cooking a barbecue.
I think Walter might be up in Atlanta, Canada, because I know Kavosa and Cool
That's right.
They were in New Brunswick last night.
Yeah, they're at a Canadian Good Sam rally. But Walter had a question. And you're coming into the industry. You've seen your mother and father build their business there. We don't push stuff under the rug. We know that there are service issues in terms of getting customers serviced and keeping them happy. And we're selling over 500,000 units a year. We're hiring as many technicians as we can. And Walter asked a question of what does your dealership do to help satisfy the customer on the service end, so that they don't have the unit tied up for 6 months or waited a long time. And then I want you to talk specifically about Vermont Country Campus and New Hampshire Country Campus, and then we'll kind of segue that into a Route 66 discussion.
Oh, and by the way, Mom is watching.
Time out. Mom's watching. Is Cindy your mother?
Yeah.
So Logan, at 1 o'clock in Italy, your mother is watching, Logan.
Oh, boy, now the pressure's on.
You're on the world stage now, pal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Time to, might be begin your comments by saying, "Love you, Mom."
Yeah, love you, Mom.
Don't forget Dad, unless he's sleeping.
I love my dad. He knows that. You know, he's definitely I would qualify him as my best friend. So and he knows that.
And Mike Perry just joined too. Because we're always. Mike said, "Oh, Walter says no. No, he says no. Walter's home this week." Okay, and Jose Moniz and is on from Rolling on TV. He's down at Mattapoisett, and he's joining us. I know he's busy getting his new season of shows together. So let's go back and let Logan answer the question that Walter asked as far as service, and then we'll do the segue into Route 66.
I appreciate the question, Walter. You know, our goal, as I've said here, is to provide excellent customer service before and after the sale. And the way that we do that is, you know, we don't try to pretend that we're perfect, but I'm not afraid to get on the phone and talk with customers. The biggest thing is figuring out if there is an issue. And when an issue comes up is okay, how can we solve it together? Because it's a partnership, right? When they're buying from the dealership, they are also buying into us and we're buying into them. So, you know, what we try to do is communicate, and we want to over communicate, you know, let the customer know that we're thinking of them. But if they need parts, you know, we're trying to expedite that. I think one flaw in this industry that I've noticed coming in is that we really need to improve our ability to get parts to our customers so that they're not tied up for weeks on end. And customers come in with the expectation that we're like the car industry, where it's, you know, 2-3 days and instantly they're going to be back on the road. That's not always the case, right? We're waiting 3 weeks, 4 weeks if they're shut down. So what we try to do is, you know, have a rolling inventory of parts that we can instantly, you know, help assist a customer with, or we'll pull from units if we need to. But our goal is to over communicate, and then also provide things like we provide road service in some situations when it's necessary. And then if you want to segue, Bob, into Route 66, you know, a big part of us is providing a diagnosis to customers on the road within 24 hours. So they know what's wrong, and then we walk them through how we're going to fix it, what that timeline is going to be, and really setting the expectations from the onset so that there's no miscommunication or misguided expectation. You
know, we've got two large groups of dealers in the country, Priority RV and Route 66. You're affiliated with Route 66, and we also have Hemlock Hill down in Connecticut. We have Lee's up in Windham, Maine. We have you at 2 locations, New Hampshire and Vermont, and we have Cold Springs in Weir, New Hampshire. Explain to the people why it's important and why your dealership appreciates being part of the Route 66 network and the benefit that it has for the customers that buy from a Route 66 dealer.
Right. So I think one of the largest benefits, Bob, is that, you know, instantly, like I was mentioning, you know, if you go to a Route 66 dealer, you buy from a Route 66 dealer, you're buying into a network. So if you're out on the road, say you buy from us here in Vermont, and then you're out, you know, somewhere out west and you break down, you can call that dealer, and within 24 hours, as a customer, you know, you have the right to get a diagnosis within 24 hours. So then you know what's wrong, and then you can, you know, figure out how you're going to get that fixed. So I think being in a network like that, a wide network across the country, you know, I had one customer who emailed me this week. He traveled almost 8,000 miles in the last 2 months, and he had issues, and being a part of our network, Route 66 network, allowed him to get on the road faster and to be treated in a priority type of way. So I think that's a huge benefit in buying from us. And one thing I will say, and this isn't just from Route 66, but going back to our service thing, is we're open 7 days a week, and we're on the phone with our customers all the time and willing to troubleshoot. And if I can, and it's late at night, I'll call a technician and try to figure out what the problem is. You know, we might not be able to get to the bottom of it, but at least we can start that process. So, you know, Route 66 is a part of that, but that also falls into our broader service that we provide.
So translate into peace of mind. Go ahead, John.
Logan, when you were answering Bob's question just a moment ago, I was listening intently, and you used the same word twice, and I think it's very important. And that word was over communicate. Yeah. And you used it, properly, but twice. And I have heard of situations, because I've had people call me and say, "Hey, how can you help me out? My vehicle has been at a dealership, and I haven't heard back from them. And when I call, nobody seems to know what's going on." It's my belief that even if you call back and say, "Look, the part isn't in yet, but I just wanted you to be aware of it. It's in transit, and we've got the shipping number, to track it." That does so much to put the customer at ease, especially if in the summertime.
Absolutely, John. And I think, the way that we look at it too, which is important and ingrained in our philosophy, and I will say it starts, with my dad. He'll say, "How does this impact our customers?" And, also you always need to think about, what if you were in their shoes? How would you feel if you're out on the road and something happens? What would your expectation be as the customer? So, he is always challenging us, whether it be in service, sales, parts, to always think through that lens of, how would you feel if the shoe was on the other foot? And so I think that's an important philosophy that we bring to our dealership every day. And like I said, we're not perfect, but I want to hear about it if we're not, because a big part of me coming back was, how can we improve? And I know that my parents always want to improve the dealership. So that's something that we take a lot of pride in.
And I think from a customer's perspective, hearing nothing is the same as hearing no. Yeah. It's not maybe, it's not on the way. It's no, it's don't bother me.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Keep over communicating, because I don't believe in this industry there's such a thing as over communicating. Mike Perry has a question. Bob, can you read Mike's question to Logan?
Let me see. Oh, Mike says, here we go. I'm going to put it. I'm going to let Logan. I'll let Logan answer it. Can you see that, Logan?
Here, where is it here? I don't see it. I apologize if I'm.
That's right. I'll read it. It says, "Are you eventually going to have a retail parts store in New Hampshire?"
Yes, we are. So we are in growth mode right now, and I appreciate the question. We are definitely going to have hard parts in our store for our customers to be able to view, and us to be able to talk them through their various parts needs. That's definitely something that we are growing into. Our biggest thing was, let's get our service bays open.
Did we lose him?
Nope. Who do you lose? No.
Nope. I've lost Lane. I've lost Logan.
Nope, he's up there. Go ahead, Logan. John's temporarily lost you on the screen, apparently.
But going back to the question, which is a great question, is we absolutely will have parts there, a greater parts presence. And our biggest emphasis with opening New Hampshire when we did was, let's get our service bays open. Let's start taking care of our customers down there that are maybe a little closer to that location. So it was, again, with a service first focus.
Yep. And we love it when Mike joins us, because, spoken as a good salesman, he obviously wants the deal to stock out that store and make sure that we're very candid with that. And Mike does a fantastic job for our dealers. Walter also says that Walter can see Logan, so that if you can't see him, John, it's on your screen.
Okay. So Bob, here's the thing I'm noticing right now. Jason Cole, I believe, is in Canada.
No, he's not. No, I don't think he is.
He's not in Canada.
No, Rhonda and Joe are in Canada.
But anyway, but Lane is watching too.
Great.
Lane is watching. So Great. We've got mom and dad both watching. I'm trying to see if there's any other. I apologize for the drag strip behind me, but we're in Indiana and they like drag strips. Jose says, "I see all three of you. I don't see."
Is that a motorcycle?
Here's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to jump off and then come right back on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
And Walter says, "Thank you, most importantly, to being honest with your response. Wishing you all the best. He would like to meet with you and talk about putting flyers for the Good Sam Rally held in May at the dealership." And we're going to be doing more of that. In talking to the dealers the last couple of weeks, we had Harvest Host on last week, and they want the brochures from Harvest Host. They want these rally brochures because it gives the customer another reason to use their RV. You know, it's one thing to buy the RV, but they want to do something with it. So if they can go to a Good Sam rally or join Good Sam, if they can go to a Harvest Post winery instead of a campground some night, they'll do that. So we're going to come up with some program to make sure that we get all of that stuff into the dealership so you can have a special. You probably have something like that now.
Yeah, we are definitely, you know, we're working towards, you know, refining our sales area down in New Hampshire. And I obviously, Walter, I welcome a conversation with you. I look forward to it.
Okay. Jerry says, sorry guys, I have missed your shows. I have been camping at Myrtle Beach at Lakewood Campground. Well, we know that well. John and I did some videos at Lakewood
Nice.
In the Myrtle Beach campground area a few years ago.
Funny thing about this.
Well, Roy says hello, and he says, welcome back, Logan. Okay. Cindy's there.
Funny thing about doing shows. Oh, Jason is here.
That's what I thought.
But I'll tell Jason that I did see a guy this morning with a oil tanker truck unloading at the service area. I was going to take his picture, but I thought he might think I was a little crazy, so I didn't. I was going to send it to you. But, you know, the funny thing when you're doing shows live and when you're doing them outdoors and you're doing them at 7 o'clock Eastern time, you have to worry about the sun. And I'm 1,000 miles away from you guys, so the sun is different here. So I have to keep moving to follow the sun. But, you know, Bob, I think one of the things that needs to be brought out is that New England is an area that people from other parts of the country respect and admire. And, you know, because of the wide variety of tourist attractions and natural resources that are there. So, Logan, you're going to get lots of people from other parts of the country that visit there. How will you deal with someone who is from, hypothetical, somebody's from Indiana and they've got an issue? You can't really say to them that, you know, you didn't buy it from here, so go wait in line for 6 months. That's got to be a way to you know, win friends and influence people by taking care of the travelers as well.
Sure. I mean, our goal is to help anybody who's camping out there. I mean, that's what we want. People camping. We want them with a smile on their face. We want them happy, having fun out in their campers. And anytime that we can, you know, be of help, if the schedule aligns, you know, where we want to step up to that occasion, happens in Vermont regularly. And so that's something, you know, in New Hampshire that we're certainly working through and talking about. We've already helped a number of customers because it's all about getting people camping. It's all about having fun.
And they talk to each other. We know that for a fact. They talk about the good things and they talk about the bad things.
Yeah.
And as dealers, you guys should be so happy to have Zagami as your executive director, because I don't think there's a person that's more excited about RVing from every aspect of it, from the manufacturer's end of it to the retailer's end of it to the campground end of it to the service end of it than Zagami. And just last week when we had Harvest Hosts on, we put some videos on. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 views. So people are looking for ways to use their RVs, but they got to be good ones and they have to be roadworthy. That's where you come in.
Absolutely. And I will, with your comments about Bob, I can't say that enough. You know, I've actually talked with Bob recently. I read some of the profiles that have been out there on him. And one thing that really stuck out to me, John, was Bob's passion for the industry and his commitment to dealers and the next generations to come. And Bob, I have to say, you know, someone coming into the industry and learning about the industry, you're definitely a role model for a lot of people out there, myself included. So, I mean, what you do on a daily basis really means a lot and makes a very positive impact. So thank you.
Well, really, it's a labor of love. Thank you very much. Hey, we have Don Polk back after a couple of weeks. He says, "Hi, Bob and John. We gotta hook you up with Don and Mark Polk, Logan. I'm not sure if you've got any of the RV Education 101 tapes or DVDs or books in your stores. They're an associate. They're an associate member of NERVDA. We work very closely with them, and they've just opened up an online training site. So they've taken all of their courses, so you can reference it for your customers. So if somebody's coming in, they're not sure about towing a trailer. There's an online course they can take for $30 or $40. So they're probably the best education company in the RV industry today. So we'll make sure that we put Don in touch with you and have some of their products up in the stores.
And Logan, if you ever want to expand beyond the RV business, I'm going to suggest one thing to you right now. No charge for this business consultation. Come to Elkhart and open a muffler shop, because 9 of the 10 people that go, can you guys hear those? Can you hear those people?
Yeah.
9 out of 10 of them don't have mufflers, etc. So
we kind of skipped over. at the beginning there, but one of the reasons that we wanted you on is because you have a grand open house at New Hampshire last weekend, and it goes through Sunday. Tell us a little bit about the open house, what you're doing to draw people in, and what they're going to see when they come up to New Hampshire.
Absolutely. So our open house or grand opening has started, and it runs through the 22nd. In order to get the word out there, we worked with Randy Adams, and we sent a mailer out to a bunch of folks, and Randy did an excellent job. And then we also ran some TV ads and some internet advertising to draw people in, and the response has just been amazing thus far. Existing customers, new customers, just campers all around. It's just been, honestly, it's been amazing. I can't say that enough. And when they come to our dealership, like I said, hopefully the first thing they're hearing, there's the bathroom, that you want a coffee and a water. How can we help you today? They're going to see a bunch of great inventory. I have over 100 units on the lot from great manufacturers. We have Passport, Outback, Cedar Creek. We have Integra motorhomes. We have Raptor, Avalanche, Alpine, the list goes on. So we have a lot for customers to look at. And then also, if they have any service needs, we can help them out with that as well.
Hey, Bob, did you notice Marty had a good comment, and then Jason Cole had one?
Yeah, that was my next comment. I'll let you take it. We have one of our good friends, Marty Hanoud, and one of the legends. You want to talk to somebody about the history of RVing in New England and how to do things right? We'll set up a lunch with Marty someday. And he used to have Marty's US RV, and Danielle and Mark and Derek. The kids have worked in the dealership. So, John, you take Marty.
Okay. Well, I want to take Marty and then follow up with Jason's. I don't know if you can put it up there, but Marty said, good to know Route 66 and priority service is there. Okay, there it is. So basically what it says is customer service is great, but these guys out here where I am right now need to be scolded into making better products that come from the factory. However, the big problem is this, and you know what? I don't believe, Bob and I don't sugarcoat the industry. They're selling more units now than ever before in their history. So they're not going to listen to people that say make them better when they're selling them as fast as they can and making them as fast as they can. So it's a it's a double-edged sword. Business is good. They're taking people from other industries that are, manufacturing these products now. And I'm sure every dealer would tell you a horror story about a unit that came in that really wasn't fit for sale. So I don't know how you want to discuss that, but it's something that really needs to be discussed. And Jason Cole said the same thing. Thanks for having great service, but I shouldn't have to be bringing the thing back 3 times in the first 4 months.
Well, and that is an issue that I think the industry. Actually, I know the industry because I've served on a couple of panels and task force recently. They've just announced the RV Technician Institute. They're going to invest $10 million on new technicians and hiring, and they are responding, and they have to respond. And it's a consumer-based business, but it's unfair that our deal is get some of these products and have to fix them before they deliver them to a customer. Because in the end result, a customer buying an RV is going to judge 2 people or they're going to look at 2 groups as to whether or not they've made a good investment and whether or not they're going to enjoy the RV lifestyle. First, of course, is the dealer that sells it to them. And that's why we have NERVDA, and that's why we communicate with our customers and have education programs. And I'm really proud to work with all of these guys because that's what gets the brunt of it. If it doesn't work, they don't call Elkhart. But secondly, it's the campground industry and the outdoor hospitality industry, because once they drive off that lot and they go to a campground, they want to enjoy their RV. So if they have a problem in the campground, they're going to take it out on the campground owner. And that's why we work very closely with all of the state campground associations here in New England, because they don't want to be the recipient or be the people that have to do the quality control at the end. So those are issues. And Logan, you're coming back into it. Do you want to address that or talk to that at all?
Yeah, so I do think it's a few different parts here. So first, as a dealership, we take service seriously. And so we're constantly working with our manufacturers and attempting to be a good dealer partner and sharing with them our experiences when units are coming in and maybe aren't meeting the standards that we're looking for. And we've had quality reception from people with that of making some changes and listening to the things, some of which will be incorporated with some of the model changes. On the other side of it, it also comes to us. We are that last person that the customer is going to see when they leave the lot with their brand new camper. So it does put sometimes a burden on us to make sure that the campers are properly prepped, but that's something we take in stride and with pride and stand behind. That's also a part of our road service in some areas, and also making sure that our PDIs and preps are solid.
Let's not skip over that road service. A lot of dealers don't offer it now because they're very busy and they have the technician. What encompasses road service for Vermont country campers and New Hampshire country campers?
Sure. So we have an hourly fee associated with it, but if people have extended service contracts, that generally provides coverage for them. But we do have some mobile capabilities in that we will send technicians out to provide service in campgrounds, because we understand a large part of our customer base is unable to bring their camper back to us. I will say though, going back to, I believe it was Jason's comment, it's not unheard of for a customer to have to bring their camper back a few times because they are mobile, they're on the road, and so things do shake loose that don't necessarily shake loose. I agree that our industry could be better and we need better from manufacturers, but people start to use them and they start turning things on and tearing things apart. So from time to time, it's not uncommon for people to have to bring them back.
Well, you bring up a good point, and Jason's a veteran. He's been out there for a long time, as have Rhonda and Joe. What I like to make sure is the dealers manage the customer expectations. So you're right. They are not built by a robot. They're built by humans. They're handmade. We don't have the sophisticated automation and manufacturing practices that Mercedes-Benz and Cadillac have. But we ought to be explaining that to the customer. We ought to be making sure that the customer understands it's a handmade unit. You're going to bounce it on the railroad tracks. You're going to bounce it down the road. And how to get service and what you're going to do if they encounter problems on the road. And that just lessens the expectations that they have that once they pull out, everything is going to be perfect. This is not a perfect industry. It is never going to be a perfect industry, but we should be managing the customer's expectations to make sure that they understand that when things go wrong, how to get them fixed.
Absolutely. And I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, Bob, when it comes to managing those expectations. I think, sometimes it's just either whether it's miscommunication or sometimes people just, think these things are perfect and they're truly not. But that's where we want to step up and try to help people as much as we can.
Yep. Hey, we got Mr. Adams on tonight. So Randy says, "Hi guys, great show tonight." And most of the consumers don't know Randy, but they've probably gotten one of his direct mail postcards because he's one of our preferred vendors and an associate member of NERVDA and does most of the direct mailings for our dealers. And I know he did the one that you've got out there now for your open house.
Yes, Randy did. And we talked about it a little earlier, but he put together an excellent mailer for us that really showcases the wide variety of inventory that we have. And, come in if you got the mailer, get your free toilet paper and see if you won the cash prize. Just bring that mailer into us. But Randy did an excellent job. I appreciate you tuning in tonight, Randy, and hope everything's going well with you.
Yep, and Randy loves it as much as everybody else when they win those cash prizes. That's why you do it.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
why you do it.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of you and the passion for the industry. I know he likes to talk shop all day long, and it's great to talk with someone like him who has the knowledge that he does.
Yeah, he can do that. So, so from a company standpoint, both the Vermont location and the New Hampshire location. I'm sure we got viewers on here tonight that before they saw you tonight, they have no clue who you are. They probably have never been to the dealership. You've covered it a little bit earlier, but let's cover it again. What are the significant things that you'd like people to know about your family business?
So we're a family-owned and operated business that's committed to our customers, and it's not just about selling you that unit and saying bye to you. It's about a long-term relationship. We are really committed to our motto of service before and after the sale, because if you have a good experience with us, then you're going to tell your friends, you're going to tell your family, and they're going to come and they're going to give us an opportunity. And I will reiterate, we are not perfect, but I want to hear about it. I'm not someone, as part of the ownership, I don't hide from my customers. If there's a problem, let's get on the phone, let's talk it out, let's work it out together. And I think that's the level of service that you'll get from us. So I can't stress enough, we're great on service, but then we also offer a great range of quality campers at affordable prices. I mean, we have some of the best brands in the industry, from Grand Design, Winnebago, Rockwood, Passport, Alpine Avalanche. I mean, we have it all at Vermont Country Campers and New Hampshire Country Campers.
Okay, Mike has a note. I forgot, but Mike is what did Mike say here? Mike Perry says Chris Demerit is a great asset to New Hampshire Country Campers. Why don't you tell him about Chris and some of the people that you have at the company, because you are new, and obviously there's some people that might like to go to work for you or already have gone to work for you.
Yeah, so Chris joined us. He's our sales manager in New Hampshire. He's been doing a great job. We wrote a number of deals this past weekend, and it's been nice to learn from a guy like Chris. He owned his own dealership previously, and he has a lot of experience as well. So it's been great talking with him and learning from him. We also have some other people that have joined us in our sales team. We have Russ, we have Fred, Travis. They're awesome. We have Alicia in our F&I department. She's fantastic, amazing work ethic, and then we have a great service team. We have Brendan. We have Mike, Nick, and Ethan, and I mean they're top notch. Our 3 technicians that we have right now, they're RVIA certified. We have more bays in New Hampshire than we do in Vermont, so our service capabilities are there, and we're really excited about that.
That's great, and very important to have the certified technicians. We've got new programs going in the industry right now. We bring a lot of the trainers in for our dealers during the fall. To get these technicians trained, and it just having a certified technician, it's diagnoses the problem sooner, they get the problem fixed sooner, the customer gets their coach sooner, and they're a happy customer. So there's a lot of money being put into technician training, development, and certification, and I always encourage all of our dealers to attend the certification courses that we bring in, and that's very helpful to know that you've got 3 of them already on the staff, and that's in New Hampshire?
Yeah, that's in New Hampshire.
Wow.
Yeah. And I do have to backtrack a little bit. I forgot 2 people. They're brand new and just started with us. But we have Teresa with warranty and Lisa in our office staff. And we're just so excited to have such a great team who's customer focused and excited about the RV industry. I mean, you talk about, camping with them and they all light up. So that's great. And we are committed to training. That is one thing when I came in here, we are constantly looking at ways to grow. And that's certainly something as we're moving through the year that we're looking to get more involved with. So training is definitely important. And we know that NERVDA provides great services when it comes to that. You
mentioned that they're passionate about camping. I think it's so important that employees, owners, and salespeople actually go camping. Actually use the products. There are, unfortunately, a lot of people in our industry that don't use them, but you have to be out there with the people and learn the language of the business, see what issues they come upon in the campground or when they're out traveling. I think that's a critical part of the business, and the more that our dealers can promote their employees that understand camping and understand the lifestyle, that's just going to generate more sales for the dealership.
Absolutely. And like you noted, Bob, we need to be relatable. If we aren't out there camping, how do we know maybe what changes are coming up or what people are experiencing? And also sometimes if we run into an issue, well, then maybe when that customer calls, we can say, I know how that felt, and I want to take care of that right away. And so that's really important to us. That's a great point.
Yeah, yeah. What are the hours on your open house this weekend?
So we're open from 9 to 5, and then on Sundays it's 11 to 4.
And that's now. Are you celebrating the open house in both locations, or just in New Hampshire? Do you have special sales in both locations?
So that's a great question, Bob. So we actually right now, starting today, we have ads for our annual Bosses Away sale here in Vermont. Our grand opening in New Hampshire Country Campers, that goes through the 22nd, and then instantly overnight, New Hampshire is going to be a part of that Bosses Away sale. So we have a little bit of overlap right here, but great deals at both locations, and we're really excited about it. Bosses Away is a super fun sale. It's so much fun. My dad can't come to the dealership, and we just make whatever deals we want. It's awesome.
So is this at the point where they just disconnected you in the hotel room in Italy when they heard you say that?
Yeah, exactly.
Cut you off. It made me, Logan, it made me want to clock, but the next phone call you get after you get off the air is probably going to be from your father.
It probably will be. He did say, before he left, he looked at me and he said, I trust you, do a great job, but just make sure the buildings still are standing when I get back. So I think we're accomplishing that thus far, and we're having fun. So,
hey, Bob, I think we've set a record for comments, for the number of comments. And, I think one of the coolest things about this show is that we don't have to come up with the questions. In fact, every time you and I make notes as to what to ask the guest, we never get around to it because we have so many great viewers that make a comment, and because they're interested. It's if somebody didn't have an interest in you, Logan, they wouldn't be commenting, and I think that's very important to.
It's very active tonight, so this is where we should say that if you have made a comment and it's a question, and we did not bring it up on the screen or we did not cover it tonight, John and I go back through every question and we watch them for the next week, and we will answer your questions regardless of what they are and give you the honest answer for that. Also, and we forgot this last week, we should shoot ourselves. We would ask that all the viewers share this show with their friends. It's archived on our website, so you can see the show. And the beauty of our show is that we get a lot of people coming and joining in and participating. But within a week, we'll have about 6,000 views of this show. And so people share it. They put it on other sites. John shares it a lot with some of the sites that he's on. So we'll get a lot of traffic that way, and hopefully you'll get a lot of continuity with it. Chris says, look up Bosses Away on YouTube. Too funny. Okay, I'd look up. Okay. Chris is saying there must be something on YouTube that says Boss is Away. So we'll have to go check that one out. Jerry appreciates the show. Marty says, great to have you on, Marty. And I assume Marty is
in a boat somewhere
watching from the sea to sea at dock or over in Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if he came back from Martha's Vineyard yet. Mike Perry says he'll be glad to help with training on dealer resources, group vendor products. That's for NERVDA. We've had Mike in there before. And Mike is also tremendous working dealer open houses. So a lot of people run into Mike several times a year because he will.
Let me stop you on that, because I have run into Mike up at Lee's and down at Majors. And there are a lot of vendors, let's be honest, there are a lot of vendors that attend these events, and it is like pulling teeth to get them to smile. But what Perry does is he engages the people, talks to them. He's selling, but in a non-selling environment, and he's your partner. And he's the vendor, I think, he's the kind of guy that you want at your store, because he educates and doesn't schlep, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he really works out. Hey, we just had a nice comment from Rick Kessler Jr. It's a great show tonight, guys. Rick, if you don't know him, is with RV Business Magazine, and also does some work with Rolling on TV that John and I work with every once in a while.
He might be right here in Elkhart with me. Isn't he in Elkhart?
Hey, Rick, Rick's up in a little bit north. I think Rick's in Michigan. But Rick, John's in town. If you want to buy him breakfast tomorrow morning, I'm sure I can. Send me a note. I'll send you his cell phone if you want to buy him breakfast. But Rick is a wealth of knowledge, and Rick is a camper. He will frequently post on.
Hold on. Somebody who's actually involved in the media and the industry outside of you and me are campers.
Right. Good.
Wow. Oh, and Gerber too.
Yeah. Yep. He does that. Let's see. Are we missing anybody there? We'll certainly take Mike Perry up on this training. Marty says, best wishes and continued success. Still a great industry and business. And you are so right, Marty. Do we do everything right? No. But are we passionate about the industry and making sure that customers really enjoy this experience? Because it's better than an airplane. It's better than a ship. And there is no better way to develop great family values than taking your kids out camping. My kids were in RVs from the day they were born. And, you want to speak to that, Logan? You see a lot of, talk about the demographics that come into your dealership these days, because we know the trends around the country, but what are you seeing for the customers in terms of millennials and families?
It's really exciting. Honestly, it's refreshing. This past weekend, I was in Vermont and we saw customers from all walks of life, all different ages. It was exciting. The different units. I mean, we had young families here. We had people who were getting their teenage kids back in camping. And then we had people who were just retiring and they were getting themselves in a motorhome and they were going to go across the country. So the demographic that we've seen has been honestly very mixed, and which is really exciting because that means people from all demographics are buying campers, which we love, and we love to see that in the industry and getting to hear people's stories about what they're going to do, where they're going. It's honestly, it's why we come to work every day.
So we want to wish you the best of luck. Randy Adams was on here. He said, thank you so much. We've got people from all over, and by the way, Rick Kessler, I was just in Michigan this morning, just north of Toledo. I can't remember the name of the town, but there was a Cabela's there. It begins with D. But then we changed plans and headed to Indiana instead of going up to Mackinac Island, or Mackinac, whatever it is. And you know what? That's one of the best things about taking an RV vacation. My wife doesn't like it, but I change itineraries like every 2 hours. So
that's your AGG kicking in.
Dundee, yes, that's where it was, in Dundee. We had lunch at a place called Great Lakes in Dundee. And that Cabela's, you know what? Cabela's are friendliest to RVers. And I know Bob hosted a New England RV Dealer Association open house there a couple years ago for people to come and try taking a look at RVs for the first time. And they're friends to RVers, so I shop there. But I get excited. I get excited because I got another week on the road, get to go to Winnebago. Should we tell people that? Tell people about our next week's guest or not?
Yeah, let's give them the scoop, and not to steal your thunder, Logan, but
I'm okay with it. It's an honor to be here.
We have a scoop next week. Our guest next week is going to be Mike Happy, the CEO of Winnebago Industry, and he is going to be taking the show from the campground. He's staying in the campground that night with the Winnebago people who are attending the Grand National Rally out at Forest City. So he is amongst all of his customers, and he has been kind enough to want to join us next Wednesday night, and he will be the first CEO to ever appear on RVing in New England. So we'll be promoting that one also. And I'm sure you don't mind, Logan, seeing that you sell some of his products.
No, not at all. And I actually had the opportunity to hear him speak out in San Diego at the Winnebago dealer meeting earlier this year. And it was really impressive to hear from a guy like him. So to know that he's on this show and obviously a supporter of NERVDA means a lot. I mean, Winnebago, top-notch product. And it looks like he's really taking the company in a great direction. We're really excited, and I can't wait to tune in next week.
That's great.
We'll be there live with him.
That's right. Don will be out there in the campground with him, and I will be probably back here in Maine. I think I'll be taking it from there. As usual, we ran over our 30 minutes, which we typically do, but that's okay because our fans stick with us, and they're still. Jason says his daughter was camping
at 3 weeks old. 3 weeks old. They took the daughter camping at 3 weeks old, and Jerry said the same thing.
Yep.
Jason said she was 3 weeks old. My daughter was camping at 3 weeks old, and Jerry Rapper, my daughter's been camping since she was 3, and now she's 23.
Yep, it is great. It is great for the family, and it's great to see the families out there and the kids disconnect and they go fishing with dad and climb the mountains and hike. And it's the last vestige of. I've said this so many times. I've probably said it on every show, but it's the last vestige of what America used to be like 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, before the ills in our society kind of crept up on us. So camping is a great place to be, and a campground is a wonderful place to take the family on weekends and vacations. John, any closing thoughts from Elkhart? You're going to hit the Rise and Roll Bakery tomorrow morning?
Rise and Roll, and I think right after this we're going to take a buggy ride. But I got to watch out about my camera because the Amish don't like being photographed, so I might have to just take the back of the horse.
That's all you can do.
So, I want a special thanks to the Blue Gate restaurant here for allowing me to use their patio, and also to the sun, which has been in my face for the last half hour. And also to the muffler shops that don't exist here in Elkhart. But tomorrow we hit the road. I don't know where we're going tomorrow. The beauty of it is when you're RVing, you don't know, you don't have to have an itinerary. Like if I had an airplane, I don't have any choice to change it unless I want to pay crazy fees. So we're heading west.
Tell them where you're headed towards the next couple of days.
We're headed to a giant air show up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And then we're heading to Winnebago. Then we're heading back east, and whatever. So keep the videos coming, John. Jerry, thank you so much. That's a mirror, John. I don't know what he's talking about, but nevertheless, I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Done. Safe travels. Logan, any closing words for our audience and your open house and coming on the NERVDA Board of Directors? We're delighted to have you. You bring a youthful experience for all of us old guys that are on there. So give us a different perspective on it.
Well, I thank everybody for tuning in tonight and for the opportunity to be on the show with you, Bob and John. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to serve on the board of directors for NERVDA, and just excited to continue learning. I would invite everybody out there to come and join us either in Vermont this weekend for Bosses Away sale or in New Hampshire for our grand opening. We'll take care of you before and after the sale, and we have some amazing deals on quality campers that you really shouldn't pass up. So come visit us and say hello, and I look forward to talking with you in person.
That's fantastic.
Oh, Jason.
Logan, thanks very much. And
Jason said, when I took a pic, when I said to the back of the horse, Jason said, "That's a mirror, John." And I said, "I don't know what you mean the back of the horse." Thanks, Jason. Just remember, next time you need help.
Jason's on a roll tonight. Yeah.
It's like a hot dog.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
We should say Jason and Lisa are the state directors for Rhode Island for Good Salmon. They're typically try to join in every week also and contribute. Yeah. All right, so that's it for RVing in New England tonight. We're going to sign off, and hopefully, don't forget, Mike Happy, CEO of Winnebago, next Wednesday. Share this show and tell everybody to join in next week to hear from Mike Happy. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.